Every 28th of January is Data Protection Day. But you would be forgiven for thinking, so what? What is Data Protection Day, or Privacy Day as it's sometimes known, but don't get me started on the difference between Data Protection Day and Privacy Day. It is Data Protection Day. But if you're thinking, why is it important? I completely understand. If you don't consider yourself as being in the data protection world, it could look like the 28th of January is just an excuse for the data protection world to geek out about the intricacies and the foundations of data protection law. Not that we ever need an excuse to geek out. Other people have explained the reason for Data Protection Day and why it's on the 28th of January much better than I could, and I'll link to them below. But I wanted to explain why I believe data protection is so important. Today and every day, I'm passionate about protecting data because at its core, it's about protecting people. If we don't handle information about people with respect, how can we say we're treating the people themselves with respect? If we want the people we work with and work for to trust us, we must let them know that they can trust us with their personal data. And by that, I do mean, of course, that we must actually be able to tell them that their data is safe, not just tell people what we think they want to hear. Keeping data safe, protected and treated with respect is so much more than keeping it in a secure server or locked in a filing cabinet though. It's about being clear why we want the data in the first place, and that reason being for a fair and lawful purpose, of course. It's about being open and transparent about what we're doing, and only collecting, using, sharing and storing the minimum amount of data that we actually need for those fair and lawful purposes. I'm on a mission to explain this to as many non-data protection people as possible. So if you're listening to this, please, please, please help me have a particularly happy Data Protection Day by helping spread this message. Data protection equals people protection. The very first article in the GDPR itself explains that this regulation, the GDPR, protects fundamental rights and freedoms of natural persons just being living people, and in particular their right to the protection of personal data. So data protection rights are human rights, and I know that the people I work with care about human rights. I don't tend to work with people if they don't. If your work involves you knowing anything whatsoever about your customers or your tenants, your clients, your colleagues, you are in the world of personal data. And so you need to be in the data protection world as well, even if you don't think of yourself as being a data protection person. It's not really a them and us situation. We're all handling personal data. It's just that some of us know a bit more about the data protection laws than others because we geek out about them. But let's make sure that we are working together so that everyone who is handling that personal data knows how to protect that data and knows that data protection is people protection and it's more than just security.